Okay, I'm going live. I've gone live.
Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm really, really sorry we are late. All the people are on Zoom, some of them on LinkedIn, and some of them, of course, on our Facebook pages are joining in. Thank you so much for joining in. We are here again, another Tuesday, discussing about pain. And this is you realize that I do a lot of mental health programs because entrepreneurs, we never discuss this thing. And we go through a
Yes.
lot of these pains and a lot of issues on mental health. So this program is basically to actually look at how do you deal with pain? How do you actually navigate out of it, and how do you actually work it out? I know if you're in Kenya, you've seen the stories going on of a young lady that actually committed suicide, which is a very sad thing. But I think it's a
Yes.
discussion that we need to start talking and understanding. How do you deal with pain? How do you move away? I mean, right now, everyone is on social media. How do you gather yourself and talk about the things that you're going through? And that's what Regina and myself today will be talking about. Regina is here again. I'm sure you've met her at some point. Regina, maybe just to introduce yourself for the people to just know who you are, and then we can begin.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Ivy. And I just want to say I'm so sorry to hear about the young lady, the expiring doctor who committed suicide. And you're right, that is not a subject that we're willing to talk about is pain. But it's very prevalent in the lives of many, and many are not managing it. So
Mm.
this is a great topic to talk about, and know that there are various type of pains which we will talk about. So my name is Regina Hall. I'm known as Exhale with Regina. I like to move women, or desire to help women to move from pain to purpose in their lives,
Mm.
careers, and spiritual journeys, to deal with the pains of life,
Mm.
and to know that we are driven and that we are here for a purpose. And so the pains of life, of dealing with divorce, of dealing with the loss of a job, and dealing with having to retransition, or rethink the way we feel about ourselves, or how we think about ourselves. That's really important. And so many people are in pain, but they're not talking about it, and they're not seeking help either, because a lot of people think it's just it'll go away with time, but that is
Mm.
just not true.
Amazing, amazing. And I agree with you. Many people just walk around thinking the pain will go away, but sometimes it takes just talking about it or even understanding how you need to navigate away with it. So this is going to be a wonderful discussion. For the people at Zoom, just send in your questions on my phone. I'll be able to see them. For the people joining other social media, we were actually planned to do it on Zoom. We've just extended it to the rest of the people. So, but Zoom, thank you so much for attending. I see where you are at. So, Regina, welcome. I know you have a presentation. Please go ahead, and I'll be listening in and also picking the questions. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Here I am. Let me go here. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes. Let me put
All
it
right.
on. Fantastic.
Okay, great. Okay. So, well, it's morning here in the United States and the Eastern side. Well, let me say the Eastern time, I should say, because that's where I am in Michigan. And so, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and for some, good night, right? So, this is great to be here. And again, Ivy, thank you for this opportunity. It is a privilege to, spend this time between 45 minutes to 60 minutes, speaking on the topic of the power of pain, how to harness life challenges. And there are many life challenges that we are going through. And this is why I'm so passionate really about this topic. And I'm sure because it involves personal growth. As Ivy was saying, sometimes it's really about talking about the pain, but it requires an action. And we're going to be talking more about that. And so I just want you to think about the power of pain and to define what pain is. Let's get a working definition of pain. It's physical suffering or discomfort caused by illness or injury. So it talks about physical pain or discomfort, but pain is also mental. You can have chronic mental pain. You can have chronic physical pain. But one thing it is doing is creating a discomfort. And it can be caused by illness, of course, and it can be caused by injury. But also the personal experiences that we have in life, it can bring about excruciating pain, unbearable pain. So how would you rate your pain? Would you say that you're in no pain? That's the smile that you have on your face. Would you say mild pain? Would you say moderate, severe, very severe, worst pain possible? People are on a range. So there's a range of pain that we in, to no pain, but we still can have discomfort, to the worst pain ever, where you just don't want to get out of bed. I've heard people say that. So just a little bit more about myself. On the screen, you see that I'm a speaker, trainer, and coach. But as a trade, I am a professional counselor, licensed professional counselor. And I enjoy that work. I have been doing behavioral health for 30 years, for almost 30 years. It's been a while that I've been doing it. But what I can say about being in the space of dealing with mental illness and helping people to understand where they are when you're dealing with depression, anxiety, and it can become overwhelming. Hearing people say that they don't want to get out of bed. Now, I don't want to commit suicide. I just don't want to wake up. I just don't want to face the adversities of life. I wasn't prepared for this setback. I didn't see this coming. Many of us, when you think about the pandemic, we didn't see it coming, right? Unbeknownst to us, we were going to lose family members. I lost family members. We were going to lose husbands, wives, sisters, brothers, aunts, uncles. Loss was going to happen unbeknownst to us. Children were lost unbeknownst to us. We became very ill and sick. I had coronavirus. 6 weeks I suffered with it. So pain is real. And some people are still dealing with the impact of coronavirus in their physical and their mental health. And please, we must talk about the fact around the world. Yesterday, I saw where on the airlines, more and more violence is breaking out because people don't want to comply. They really feel like it shouldn't impact them, but it's impacting everybody. Look how people are acting out. So this is what we need to understand about pain. People are in pain. So how do you respond to bad experiences? Well, I just gave an example. Think about that airplane. Think about the airlines, I should say, how people are responding to the pain, in denial. So people respond to pain by denial, being in denial, anger, withdrawn, detachment, ignoring it, shrinking into their emotions. Pain is not an easy conversation for us to have or understand how to respond to bad experiences. And I know for America, a lot of it, people want to be in denial of, people want to be in denial of the pain that they are going through here and want to act like it just doesn't exist or it shouldn't exist. Why is this happening to me? So ask yourself, how do you respond to bad experiences? That's a good question to ask ourselves. So here's a little more about me. I am a speaker, trainer, and coach, as you know, at StayStat, but I'm a part of the John Maxwell team. John Maxwell is considered the guru of personal growth and leadership. He's known throughout the world. And he does have a following on the continent of Africa, all over Africa. He is known. I met many, many people who are from various parts of Africa. And they are part of John Maxwell team. And he talks about it from the aspect of the law of pain. Good management of bad experiences leads to great growth. Isn't that something? I'm going to say that again. Good management of bad experiences leads to great growth. The law of pain tells us that we all will have bad experiences. That's very true. No one is exempt from bad experiences. No one is exempt from pain. And we have learned that more than anything in this pandemic, that nobody is exempt from pain. And some people didn't go through it as worse as others, but nobody was exempt from this experience. Somehow, some way, it changed your life. And that is the truth about it. So nobody is exempt from bad experiences. So good management of bad experiences leads to great growth. Here's the key word: great growth can come out of bad experiences, but people don't see it that way. That is very difficult to see. I know for me, when I was going through the healing process of the sexual abuse that I suffered at the hands of a next door neighbor, I did not see great growth. I saw great pain. I could not understand why this, all of a sudden I was dealing with this, but God had decided to heal my mind and heal my heart of it. I started to have visions about it. I did have thoughts of suicide. I just could not believe that this was happening. What is happening? I had no footage, no solid footage. My emotions was all over the place. I was in a lot of pain. I sought counseling. I sought help. And the powerful words that the counselor said to me was, sometimes you got to get on the surgery table to be healed. She said, Regina, you're on the surgery table and God is dealing with you. I will guide you through this, but I want you to know that God is in this. That is powerful. That is so powerful. Understanding that God is in our pain with us. So again, the law of pain tells us that no one is exempt from bad experiences. But it also tells us, by a quote from Chuck Swindoll, states that life is 10% what happens to us and 90% of how we react to it. Our attitude is everything when it comes to pain. Here's another thing about pain. Every problem introduces a person to himself. That's by John McDowell. Every single problem that we have introduces us to ourselves. So what are some of the problems that are going on in our lives? And what do you think? What are you telling yourself as you go through these problems? Are you telling yourself that we are resilient? Or are you telling yourself, I can't take it? I can't take this. It's unbearable. We are stronger than we think. Are you telling yourself, I'm stronger than this? I can get through this? Are you thinking that you have to go through this problem alone? Are you questioning your relationship with God? Are you seeking out friends? How are you going through your problems? It's so important. How are you going through them? What are you thinking? What are you telling yourself? It's so important. So know that every problem does introduce us to ourselves. You can say to that person, hello, I'm seeing how you acting. How are you acting? The problem that I have of God healing me through the sexual assault that I suffered, again, I was so unstable. And I sought help. And I began to gain traction. But it was not easy. I also have gone through a divorce. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on. That was difficult and hard. Once again, I lost my footing. So the power of pain, here we are. Pain is unavoidable. It's unavoidable. And no one wants them. No one wants bad experiences. No one wants to deal with pain. So it's unavoidable and no one wants to deal with it. I know for me, again, when I was going through and when I have gone through problems in the past, I believe that I was cursed. I believe that people had it better than I did. I felt alone and that God cared more for others. I thought God was angry with me. I believed that I was not good enough or I wasn't worthy of love. It's important of how we interpret pain. How we interpret the pain is going to determine how we go through it and how we get through it. So here are some pain files that John Maxwell talks about. The pain of incompetence. Now, the pain files are what we have filed away, or these are things that we have believed. So here's the pain of incompetence. I should have seen that coming. How many of us have said that to ourselves? I should have seen that coming. I can't believe that happened. I just should have known better. I was talking with a client yesterday, and that's exactly what they said to me. How did I miss it? I should have seen it coming. The pain of financial loss. If I could only get that back. If I could only get it back. People have so many regrets over financial loss, over the way things turned out. The pain of not being number one. You know, that's something that a lot of us struggle with. We want to be on top. We want to be number one. We want to be seen as great and powerful. I would be at the top if it wasn't for ... Blaming others. We can do a good job of that. Then the pain of change. What are they doing? They should have listened to me. And there are many more pain files that can be talked about. But think about your pain files. It requires us to put thought into what we are feeling and going through. It requires for us to slow down, to deal with pain, to deal with bad experiences. It requires for us to evaluate, take an evaluation. So many people live in the should have, would have, or could have path when dealing with bad experiences, when dealing with pain. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. What are your shoulda, coulda, wouldas? Those type of words would keep us trapped. So think about it. You can become bitter or better. The choice is yours. This is so powerful because oftentimes people do not see that they have choices, that they have choices in the midst of what's going on. People can feel so powerless, as if they just have to lay down and take it, become a doormat. No, you do not. Remember what I said in the beginning, it's about growth. Now, I did share that I had gone through a divorce. One day, I was participating in this group, actually, a divorce group. This church was having it. It was great to be a participant in this divorce group. But the first day I showed up to this divorce group, it was 6 or 8 weeks. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've been divorced. However, the first day I walked in, it was so many people there. I didn't expect it. I thought maybe it would be like 10 people, 5 people. And it took a lot for me to want to go to this group because I was feeling so judged by myself. Of course, my thoughts were what people were going to say about me, what they were going to think about me. It was all about being embarrassed, being ashamed. But I forced myself to go anyway. And when I walked in, I just couldn't believe how many people were there. And some people even came with new boyfriends or new girlfriends. And the speaker talked about that. I was shocked. And when we broke off into groups, I got to hear about people pain, not wanting the divorce. I know I didn't want it. And they were there though. So one day in this group I was in, this person shared about the anguish that they were still suffering. And they continued to talk about it. And I'm thinking they were new to the group, like me. But they had gone through this experience several times. And what I heard them say is that their husband had remarried. Not only remarried, but had children. He had moved on with his life. She was still lamenting. I must tell you, that lady helped my healing. I looked over at her and I said, oh, hell no. I would not be better. I would be better. I will not lament this that way anymore. It is time to get up and get over this and use this to my advantage. I would not sit here for years while he moves on with his life. I would learn how to live again. How about that? A single person again. And I did. And I did, because that day I was determined not to be bitter. I was determined to come out on the other side. So you can know that it's a choice. And that's the hardest thing to see when you're dealing with pain, that we have choices. The hardest thing to see is choices when you have a forest. You can't see the forest for the trees. You have all these trees in your forest. But I must tell you that I started knocking down those trees, and I began to see the grass in the forest. And I began to see that I can walk through the forest. And I began to see that I can go to a lake, a man-made lake, or a lake, or whatever it was, that I can push through the leaves. I began to see that. But it took me taking hold of my thoughts, getting help, and staying focused on getting to the other side. And it's nothing easy about what I'm saying. So I want us to know that nothing's easy about this. So how to turn pain into gain? Well, again, this comes from John Maxwell. Take a positive life stance. Take a positive life stance. And what does that mean? Very few people honestly see positive experiences out of bad experiences. So it's important that we do that we see the good in it. What's good about this? You may not see it in the beginning, but what's the good in this? The Bible says all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and called according to his purpose. All things. Did he say some things? Did he say maybe some things? Did he say limited things? No. All things is working for your good. He would do that for us. He would make it work for our good. So a life stance is really about the situations that are happening in our life, our experiences, and our perspective on them. That's what a life stance is. So whatever our perspective, how do we see it? So think about the pain file of incompetence. The pain of incompetence. I should have seen that coming. Think about how that is a negative life stance. We're not going to always see things coming. So what's the positive life stance? What that you can look at that pain file and say, well, you know what? I didn't see it coming, but here it is, and now I have to deal with it. I have to deal with it for what it is. Right where it is, I got to deal with it. Yeah, I was blindsided, but I got to deal with this. So it's important that we understand that. So a positive life stance is all about the attitudes, assumptions, and experiences that we have in our lives. And yes, we're going to have setbacks. And yes, we're going to have situations that come in our lives that blindside us. And yes, we are going to be the person who contribute to some of this. And some of it we didn't contribute to. So we don't have to get into whose fault it is, blaming ourselves, blaming others. It's all about healing. So embrace the value of bad experiences, because great growth can come out of it. And here's the kicker: make good changes. Wow, that's powerful. Make good changes. Work on making good decisions. So how do we do that in the midst of it? How do we do that? Well, I'm going to tell you. What I did was, in my worst experience, I did tell you I sought counseling. I sought God. Even though I thought he was angry with me, even though I thought I wasn't good enough, even though I thought that I wasn't enough, even though I thought that he would reject me, I know that it was God choosing me to. I thought all of that. It was hard getting through all of that sexual assault. It was hard dealing with the memories of that. I dealt with betrayal, rejection, unforgiveness, all of that. And I had to get through every single bit of that. And you don't get through it in a lot of people want to believe that healing is all about, I'm healed, now it's over. Like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's over and done, over and done. That's not true. It's not over and done. You still are going to deal with some residuals. I did of that. So it wasn't over and done. It's a process of getting through pain. It's a process of learning how to harness life's challenges. It's a process. So we have to sit back and we have to show up as the student in this. And remember what I said about how many people showed up at the divorce group? I couldn't believe it. There are many people going through what we're going through. We're not alone. I also learned that when I was seeking counseling for the sexual assault, I had joined these groups at a church. And there were many people there in pain, emotional pain, unstable, crying over various reasons. But one thing we had in common, we were in pain. And we began to support one another through our pain. So, how to turn pain into gain? Positive life stance. Embrace the value of bad experiences. Make good changes. And as you move forward, understand your emotions. Ask for help. That's what I had to do. I had to begin to understand I was in depression. I had anxiety. I was dealing with the emotions of betrayal, unforgiveness. I had to understand my emotions. I had to understand what I was saying to myself, what I was thinking about God. And the more I began to understand God, the more I began to understand me. I began to understand I was connected to God. And the things that I had believed were all lies. I was believing lies. Are you believing lies? Are you believing lies? Ask yourself, what are you believing? Ask for help. Get help. You are not made to do it alone. We are interconnected. We need help. And sometimes the help that we seek, let me just tell you, they can prey on our vulnerability. So be alert as well. That's hard in pain, to be alert. Before I really got into the healing process, and I have to say that God led the journey of the healing process of this sexual assault. But in my younger years, I had sought counseling. And I sought out a pastor. And instead of him striving to help me, and he did help in me understanding setting boundaries, I had to begin to set boundaries with him. I couldn't believe it. I had to start setting boundaries with him. And I didn't even know how to interpret him coming on to me in my worst pain. And it took my cousin to say to me, this pastor is out of line. He's abusing his power. And he did. He abused his power. So be alert. People will prey on you. But guess what? Don't give up on you because of people. Keep your eyes on God. And then you say, well, why did God allow that to happen? I don't know. But one thing I do know, I got smarter for it. I now understand people will prey on you in your worst pain, and people who are supposed to be there to help you. Everybody praying to God, everybody preaching God's word ain't for God. That's in the Bible. That's literally in the Bible. Identify specific changes you want to make, you want to have in your life. Look at where you are. Look at where you want to be. There is milk and honey on the other side. As the Bible says, now is the time. Joshua was in the now is the time where God wanted to lead him to the milk and the honey. He took over Moses where Moses left off. Yes, now is the time to go for your milk and honey. Where do you want to be? You want peace? You want to be resilient? You want growth? Where do you want to be? And above all, personal growth takes action. I said that in the beginning. This is all about action. This is all about action. You have to take action. And don't be afraid. You are going to have to get the team of people to walk with you. You are going to be the one that have to seek out the counseling. You are going to be the one that have to pray for yourself. You are going to be the one who have to take action. It's not easy, but you can do it. Thank you. So to make your personal growth a priority, to learn more about additional coaching, training, seek me out, reginachall.com. Thank you so much, and thank you, Ivy.
Thank you so much, Regina. Beautiful, beautiful session. I think I have a lot of questions from our group. For the people who are joining on social media, we have a group that is actually on Zoom, which is a private group. And so we managed to just extend this to the rest because we needed to hear this is a very critical information. And so you'll be hearing some questions I'll be asking from the group. And so we can actually listen in and also get something from there. First question, Regina, someone is asking, I went through a loss and it's almost as if I became numb. What do I do?
Yes. So thank you for asking that. And hello, everyone. Yes, it is like you becoming numb. Remember on that pain scale that I gave, that is a part of your pain that you don't want. Who wants to deal with it? I talked about that. So you seek help. You've suffered a loss. That's your loss. And you know, that's something that it requires for you to take an action. So seek help. Seek a counselor. Get into a good Bible study. That's what I tell people. Into a Bible teaching church or into a counselor if you don't believe in God. But seek the help. And also learn about them in seeking help. You know, we can go to a doctor and we ask no questions. When I go into the doctor's office, I look around for their degrees. I ask them, what are you trained in? Like, how long do you go to school? What's your specialty? Ask questions
Yeah.
too, because this is your life. This is your life. So as you set out, because you want to not stay in that numb state, seek help and seek trusted friends as well. People who can help guide you. Hopefully you have trusted friends. So look for guidance from your trusted friends.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I agree with you. Always find yourself in a group. But also, there's a next question that asks, what do you do when you find yourself isolating yourself from people? Because it seems I'm the only one who understands myself rather than anyone else.
Yeah, isn't that something? Well, one thing is true. You are the only one that understands you, right? You do understand you to a certain extent. But let me say this. I said this earlier, that our problems, every problem introduces us to ourselves. So there are things that we don't understand about ourselves. And one of the things of the trick that I believe is a trick that we fall into is that nobody understands my pain. That is so far from the truth. Remember what I said when I walked into that divorce group. My first day there, it was people all over the place going through a divorce. As a matter of fact, it states that in this pandemic, 40% of marriages have led to divorce. 40%. And so that is a trick of the enemy, in my opinion, when we start believing nobody else understands my pain. Yes, there's nothing new under the sun. So let me say that. Nothing new under the sun. What you're going through, and I'm not minimizing what you have gone through. Understand me. Isolation is all about thinking you are alone. And also the thoughts you think, because you are isolating, are thoughts that you're going to have that supports the isolation. So if you're in isolation, the thoughts are, nobody understands me. I feel so alone. No one's there for me. I wish people can hear my pain, can see me.
Yeah.
But they can't if you're isolating. So here's the thing. People who are depressed have to take on also going through the healing process. And there are people out there who do understand you, because there are people who have gone through what you've gone through for centuries. Yes.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. So my other question is, I'm a gentleman. I recently lost everything for my business. I also lost my home. And currently, I'm nearly losing my family. What should I do?
First off, let me say to all of you who have been asking these questions, thank you for even asking these tough questions, because they're tough. And we are looking for answers to losses. So let me say to you that acknowledge the emotions that you're feeling. And when you go through something, such a great loss of business, family, home, because people are, you're a man. They're looking for you to be the caretaker, solve the problem. This is a problem. So there are organizations that are out there who can help. I would encourage you to seek counseling. But deal with what you have to deal with first. And it's your family. Don't take out your pain on your family. That's easy to do, to become irritable, to, go within yourself, to become angry again. Remember that this is introducing you to yourself. So seek help. Where do you live? There are people around you have lost businesses. There are great leaders that are out there. I don't know what area you're in, But again, it's going to take you seeking the appropriate help. And I'm going to encourage you to reach out to Ivy.
Yeah.
Yes, please reach out to
Yeah. Reach
Ivy.
out. Yeah.
Yes, find out what resources that she has for you. And also, I don't know about shelters that are around. You said you lost your home. So think about the shelters, the food banks that are out there. It's going to take time for you to get through that. That's a lot. It takes time to get through any type of pain. But I want to encourage you today. Stand strong. If you don't have a relationship with God, I encourage people to get a relationship with God. You feel let down, God has let you down. Yeah, maybe you do feel let down, but God has great things in store for you. That's what people can't see, that there is greatness on the other side of pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing, Regina. Thank you so much. My other last question would be, I recently lost my job and I almost feel like a failure. How
Yeah.
do I get myself out of that?
Yeah, isn't that something? Because again, thank you so much for your question. And I want you to know that I've been there. I was fired from my job in 2019.
Yes.
Fired. Yes, let go. Okay. And I understand what you meant, what you mean.
Yeah.
My experience was a little different because I was feeling like a failure in the job. It was time for me to go.
Yeah.
And the money was good, and I didn't let the job go. So they ended up letting me go. And when I talk about a problem introduce you to yourself, what I was introduced to is that I got so tired of my supervisor that I just not necessarily let it rip, but I let her have it a couple of times because I was just downright sick of her. And that was not the way to handle the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
But I felt unheard.
Yeah.
And because I felt unheard, I ended up just letting it rip. And it backfired for me and they let me go. Well, it was the best day of my life because I became unchained from that job.
Yeah.
However, it was not the best day for my husband and my daughter. It was not the best day for them. I am remarried. And so they were like, what is going on? But I determined from that moment on, I was going to start a business, that I was going to find my way, that what meant something to me. And I began to work on that. And as I would tell you, it's easy to feel like a failure, particularly when we define who we are by things, jobs. Jobs are going to come and go. That's the truth about a job, okay? They're going to come and go. People are going to be let go for various reasons. The job that I was on, they can let you go for any reason. We are at will state. Employers have the power to let you go at will. No explanation whatsoever. Okay? And that's just the way it is. So jobs come and go. But what are your skills? What are your talents? What about you make you unique? So don't wallow in you're a failure. That is so far from the truth. You have greatness in you. God made you. And from what I know about the Bible, he made you fearfully and wonderfully. And it wasn't defined by man. It wasn't defined by a job either. But God created us to work. He created us to go forward and with talents and gifts and abilities. So you have that. Get your resume together. Get somebody to help you with your resume. Put it out there. Again, Ivy is right here. Okay. The Incubator Nest Hub is powerful. So seek the help you need, but don't wallow in I'm a failure. There is greatness in you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Regina. I mean, amazing session. Thank you so much for the team that is on Zoom. Thank you so much for the team is on Instagram. I know we can't see you from here. And thank you so much for the team also that joined on Facebook, and also those that are going to watch later on. I really, really appreciate
thank
it.
you.
This is a great topic because one of the things we see all the time is when entrepreneurs are not able to manage their pain, then everything falls apart. So mental health is going to be very important. You realize I showcase a lot of this so that people have the realities and they know what the solution is when things happen. Because as Regina has said, we all go through pain at some point. We've all been going through a lot of pain. So how do we deal with it? And how do we actually have a tribe and also support for it? And I think Regina has broken it down so well. For everyone who is here, if you know anyone going through some pain, please, or any pain, please send them this video. Let them reach out to us. We'll be able to actually ask Regina to talk to you. So feel free. Don't slide there and just feel as if nothing is going to happen or it's over. No, it's not over. There's a lot of potential in you. You are a great person. So make sure that you reach out and we'll be able to actually work with you. Thank you, Natalie, for joining in. Thank you so much for everyone.
Thank you.
As always, we are on time. What's your parting shot, Regina?
So what I want to say is I want everyone listening or who will be listening to take a breath. Take another breath. Rethink your life. Reimagine your life. Know that you can move from pain into your purpose. I am a speaker, trainer, and coach because of my pain led to my purpose. And this is my purpose. You know, it's something for me to say, move you from pain to purpose. You know, who wants to talk about pain? But I keep saying it because as Ivy has said, it's real. It's real. And if pain don't work for you, bad experiences. If that don't work for you, harness your life challenges. Whatever works for you, don't stay in the pain. Just know that it came to pass. So the scripture that I normally read is from Isaiah 43:18. Do not dwell on the things of the past or consider the things of old. God is doing a new thing in you. Do you not perceive it? And that's an interpretation at the end because it's more to it than that. But God is doing a new thing. Perceive it. You can get in contact with me at reginachall.com. That's my website. Feel free. And I would love to work with you. God bless you.
Thank you, Regina. God bless you. Thank you for the team on Zoom. We really appreciate you. And I really, really appreciate that you've actually come in and you really wanted to keep it private and also want to share it to the rest of the public. Thank you so much also. Regina, have a wonderful morning. Thank you so much. But just stay in the stream so we can have a discussion. 1 and 2.
Sure,
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bye.
Take care. Bye.